Everybody, welcome back to this week's Most Elite Podcast. I am the Most Elite Podcaster, Ian. And, I was sitting here going through my very large catalog of games. Just a backlog. Most gamers, at some point, get an extensive backlog of just games that maybe they're going to get to. Maybe it's on the to-do list, but years go by and you still haven't to-do'd it, And I was sitting here, I'm watching my buddy Most Elite Gaming stream. By the way, go subscribe to his Twitch or follow or whatever. Hit the bell, whatever they do on Twitch. Go do that. He's really, really entertaining. And I'm not just saying that because we have the same name in the Most Elite family. He actually is super entertaining. But I'm sitting here watching the stream. I'm looking at my backlog of games because I was going to do a podcast tonight. And I was like, man, it's occurred to me that I've never done a podcast on a fighting game. I like to consider myself a member of the FGC. Maybe I don't go to every tournament, but I like to consider myself an active member of the FGC. I know a little bit about frame data. I know a little bit about fuzzy guards, Oki, Okazimi, the longer word. I know a little bit. Maybe I'll do a podcast on that. I was sitting here thinking to myself, and what better game to do it on than Mortal Kombat 11? Recently released Mortal Kombat 11 is, how would you explain Mortal Kombat 11, right? It's not exactly 9. It's not exactly 10. 10 had something that this one doesn't have. A large emphasis on combo damage. Combo damage still in this game, right? Mortal Kombat 11 has combo damage. And I'm opening up with this because that was a big thing that they were talking about upon the release of MK11. It was like, all right, they took combos out of the game. The game's been alive for a few months now. We know combos are still in the game. Now, do they have as big as an emphasis as they once had? No. They just don't, because they wanted this game to be more neutral heavy, more mix-up heavy. And I respect that. I love neutral in games. I feel like if you master neutral, you can master any game, like at all. Like if you become a master of how the game should be played in a neutral state, you can master anything. It's kind of like mastering like multiplication or division. I feel like you can master any math because it's those fundamentals. Neutral is nothing but fundamentals, and if you got the fundamentals, the advanced steps are second nature to you. So I respect that they put that emphasis on neutral. That being said, hold on, guys. Okay, so much like my last video, I had to cut the audio forward. In my last video, I'm pretty sure I explained that I have an animal, a cat. She's very loud. You'll probably hear her moments before I cut this audio forward because she was meowing. And my microphone is super good, and I don't have soundproofing, so it just picks up whatever's happening in the house. She's deaf, so she meows a lot, like really loud, to just see if anyone's around. So it's really nothing I can do about it. I don't want a cat ruining the podcast, so I cut the audio each time. But I don't remember what I was saying, because again, like last time, it was a moment for you, but for me, it's been some time since I was talking. So I think I left off with explaining how I appreciate the focus on neutral and how fundamentals make you a better player overall. And it translates to any game. Once you learn a game's fundamentals, prior knowledge of fundamentals for a different game will help elevate your status in that game. I truly believe that. So I do appreciate that they put such a great emphasis on fundamentals this time around. Sorry again about that. A lot of distractions this episode. Neutral, fundamentals. I'm trying to catch myself up mentally to where I was. So with the emphasis on the neutral, they needed a way for the neutral to be damaging. So what they incorporated or introduced to Mortal Kombat 11 is something called crushing blows. The crushing blows deal anywhere between 30 to 40% of your life. And so it's not just like you crushing someone's life bar away. There are activation requirements, prerequisites to meet before you can successfully crushing blow your opponent. Each character has 3 minimum, like 5 maximum or 6 maximum or something like that. And the requirements are different for each. Some of it is as simple as counter hit your opponent. Others are with a move 3 times, and the 4th one will activate the crushing blow. So there is a bit of a gaming element to activating the crushing blows. Some characters have really easy crushing blows, like if you guess wrong twice on a grab, because you can grab break in this, but if you guess wrong, that third grab will be a crushing blow if you want it to be. The crushing blows are activated by holding the button you use to activate them, or you can have them auto activate if you're not too comfortable with the activation requirements just yet. It's a way to get new people introduced to it. But for most people who play in the competitive scene, obviously it's hold the button. You know the activation, you know how to use it. You don't want to waste it, because crushing blows are now one of the main sources of comebacks, straight up train steamrolling somebody, or just damage in neutral, because this game is crazy neutral based. So since it's crazy neutral based, the crushing blows really make you deadly. The idea of the crushing blow is to make you deadly in neutral. Does it always work? It truly depends on who you're playing. I think a lot of guys will just rush you down or whatever and not really give you the chance to activate all the requirements. And some of the requirements, the easier ones, you throw them out to remind your opponent that you do have it and you will use it to take 40% of their life. You know, it's a scare tactic. See, the crushing blow, since this game is neutral, it boils down more to set play, you know, and like how well can your opponent defend not just what you're going to do, but what they think you're going to do. Crushing blows really allow you to mind game your opponent much more effectively than in other games. Now, I don't know if I sound like I'm praising crushing blows, but that's just because you're supposed to say two good things before you say bad things. I think they should take crushing blows or fatal blows out of the game. Here's the thing, the crushing blows are in the game, but supers or x-rays are still in the game. Now, x-ray moves were from the last two, where they're just a super. You get a certain amount of meter. When your health is low, you can do a mega strong move, 60% of your damage, 60% damage, you know, for the better ones, 40 to 50, 55 for even the weaker ones. You know, that it's a high damage output move. It's meant to be a comeback, because you only get it when you're at 30% of your life. So, what does that mean for crushing blows? Well, it means if you want, it matches your 2 rounds, you can spend no crushing blows. You can do the steps, the prerequisites you want on a crushing blows for that first round. Let's say if you're losing, and if you lose the first round, the next round, if you got all your crushing blows loaded up, or the prerequisites have been met, you know, in the right neutral, if you mind game your opponent enough, get them scared, because they know you have crushing blows. It's all about what your opponent knows and what you can make them think they know. You know what I mean? In fighting games. So if you want, you can load up Gearus's sand trap crushing blow, mind game it, throw some sand traps out, just scare them. You know, and in that you'll be dealing steady chip damage. You might catch them slipping a couple times with punish here or there, but then when you unleash that crushing blow, you know, you got the Oki. You do it again, boom, that's 50% or 80% of their life. Then you can just whittle them away with fireballs or however you want to play it. Then that next round, you know, you have like 1 or 2 crushing blows. What if you get like bopped, but you took their health to half with a crushing blow? You did 40%. Let's say you did 40% with a crushing blow, and you're getting fucking cooked or whatever. Oh, you're at 30% of your life. You just so happen to know a fatal blow combo, untackable. Like, let's say you launch them and they go to fall out. Fatal blows break fallouts. And you hit them with a fatal blow. Now you've taken 60 to 70% of their life. They're down below what you got. Now, granted, they now have fatal blow, and if you make a mistake, they're out of the game. But you see, when you want to win, it's easy to fall apart in that situation, is what I will say. It's quite easy to lose your cool, throw something out you may not normally throw out. And I think that's what I mean by, like, the threat of the crushing blow in conjunction with the fatal blow is just so overwhelming. And maybe a pro might like, yo, shut up, scrub. I think we can all agree that knowing somebody can take 50% of my health in 2 guesses is a little bit extreme, right? Is that not extreme? Gearus, his workabout in the new patch was solely because he had access to such an easy 40%. His sand trap crushing blow was, if he just caught you doing anything, if his sand trap activated on counter hit, he could crushing blow you for 40%, a free 40% from a move that he can do anywhere on the screen. Does that sound fair? Right? So after the patch, now he has to whiff it a few times, right? fared it up, shored it up. Now you gotta load the gun before you can just fire. And it's not just already loaded and you can just pick it up and shoot. You know what I mean? So I think we can all agree that some of the crushing blow requirements, at least, make some characters a little bit of a threat. I mean, maybe you don't agree that they need to be taken out, but at least you can concede that maybe their damage output needs to be reduced. You know? Look at a guy like Liu Kang. The guy's a nightmare in neutral. He has a free string, free pressure. You gotta guess all the time against this guy. Liu Kang's a nightmare. You know, he's a lot of safe strings, a lot of safe pressure. If you play Liu Kang right, you know, if you don't get antsy, you don't overextend, because as again, in fighting games, it's just as easy to overextend as it is to play as a shell or a wall. Once you smell blood and you go in, your opponent takes notice of that. Maybe they change their game up. But, you know, a guy like Liu Kang, he can sort of mitigate most of that with the fact that just his basic neutral, his basic set play, which this game is based around now, is so amazing. That, in conjunction with the threat of his crushing blow, one of his crushing blows is just like Gearus's. It's a counter hit. If you do anything and he starts that string, a free 40%, but that was not nerfed, which was strange to me because it was just like Gearus's. Another of his crushing blows is if he bicycle kicks you twice. If he EX bicycle kicks you twice, or is it 3 times, the next one can be a crushing blow. That's another 40%. The bicycle kick, he can combo out of that safe string that I was mentioning right into the bicycle kick. No threat to him. He can just try to set it up that way. Now, I mean, just in those 2 examples, perhaps you could admit that maybe the crushing blows are a little overpowered. And they're not even, it's not about how much damage they do. They're overpowered because of the threat of the damage they do. A game can go sideways real fast in the hands of a good player who knows when to place the crushing blows and when to not. And I know, I guess the argument can be made, well, if they're not good enough, you know, then whatever. If that were the case, Gearus wouldn't have got a nerf. Tons of other people wouldn't have got some nerfs in the latest patch. There are some things that can be universally agreed upon. And if we won't universally agree to take crushing blows out of the game, maybe we should universally agree to lower how much damage they do. Sure, the matches would be longer. For a tournament, that might be more exciting, though. You know, a little bit of a longer match. Some of these matches are super fast. You know, that's just my opinion on crushing blows. Fatal blows are just supers. You know, you earn them at 30%. Look, I'm not a fan of comeback mechanics in any game at all. I don't like supers in any fighting game. I think if you're getting beat, you're getting beat. Why are you being rewarded for losing? You know, and that's all a comeback mechanic is. X Factor, sparking in Dragon Ball or whatever. Now, sparking in Dragon Ball is a little different because you start the match with it. So it's not really a comeback mechanic, more is so an offensive or defensive tool when used right. So that's a little unfair to compare it to Dragon Ball. But X Factor for sure in Marvel. Rage Mode in Tekken, come on. I'm beating you. Why are you being rewarded for losing to me? Shouldn't I be rewarded? Why isn't there like little confetti things that pop off? Oh, you got an 80% life lead or 60% life lead. You the best. Like anything? Why is my opponent being granted energy to then turn the whole thing around? If he catches me, if I overextend, you know, it happens to the best of us. If I overextend or I make a wrong guess and I bet the farm, like I do assure you, because I thought perhaps maybe he's got to go for this, and he doesn't, and he punishes with a super, like a raw super, not even a combo scaled super. Now all of a sudden, it's anyone's game when I just spent 40 to 50 seconds beating you? I can't get behind comeback mechanics. So since MK11 has a comeback mechanic and the crushing blows, I think one of them has to go to make it fair. I think one of them has to go. But that's not what this video is actually about. I just got caught up in the tangent because that's a big part of Mortal Kombat 11. And I love Mortal Kombat 11, don't get me wrong. I love that game. I need more people to play with. I love it, man. It's a super fun game, super stylized. The animation's brilliant. All the character effects, like the effects of the gore, phenomenal. I heard that the development team had to like do like what's it called, therapy, because they were working on it for months, and just seeing all that gore and stuff constantly every day, And that mess up an even killed person, you know. But yeah, the animations, the facial contortions, the muscle spasms when you get hit or grabbed or when you get crushing blowed, all of it's amazing. All of it is top-notch animation, and it's beautiful to look at and quite scary, really, because damn, like, could you imagine getting hit by like some of those things, your body jerking and twisting in those ways? Just like, imagine like Jax grabbing you. Jax is a command grab, like the gotcha grab that he's always had. But when he does, he like lifts you up, punches you in the face. He slams you left or right, depending on the whim of the person grabbing you. It is crazy brutal. Lift behind a curtain here. I work at a game retailer. I won't name which one, but a kid and his mom came in to buy Mortal Kombat 11. The kid couldn't be any more than 14, and I was like, "Hey, this game's crazy violent. Are you okay with this? You know?" And she's like, "Well, how violent?" I was like, "Pretty goddamn violent. It's definitely M17. You know, Mortal Kombat, and it always has been. I think the original Mortal Kombat is the reason we have the ESRB. So obviously, keeping in tradition, it is a violent, ultra gory, hyper violent game, and that speaks to it. That speaks to it because it's amazing. Getting hurt or doing the hurting feels good in Mortal Kombat 11. So, and it's all lended to the amazing animation work, the amazing sound effects, blood splatter effects. Just everything about the audio and visual design of Mortal Kombat 11 is stellar. It's a stellar piece of gaming design. But yeah, so I guess that'll be my time for Mortal Kombat this week. I love Mortal Kombat 11. I want them to take out Crushing Blows or Fatal Blows. One of them has to go. But maybe I'm just the minority in that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, guys. Alright, thank you. See you next week.